Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My beautiful moments. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Today we are looking at a very deep, very important, and very ancient issue, music bells, and the hidden trap of shaitan. Behind them throughout every era people believe that music is just a hobby or a culture. But when you place the Qur'an, the hadith, the sayings of the Sahaba, the classical scholars, and modern science together, a truth becomes clear. Music is not just sound, it is a spiritual battle between the soul and the desires. A few seconds of sound can change the state of a person's heart and influence the mind. And this is the oldest weapon of shaitan. Let us travel back in time and see how this fitna began. A narration states that when Adam passed away, Kabil, who had already killed his brother in shaitan, both celebrated and created instruments that could pull people toward heedlessness and desires. Scholars say that the foundation of music is not worship but fitna. Another ancient narration says that humanity separated into two tribes, one where men were handsome and women were unattractive, and the other where women were beautiful and men were unattractive, and Allah forbade them from mixing to prevent corruption. But shaitan introduced music for the first time: drums, flutes, rhythms, night gatherings whose sounds traveled far, and the men of the other tribe were pulled toward the sound. Their curiosity increased, then attraction, then sin, then destruction. One sound, one glance, one desire, then chaos. The Quran mentions Allah saying to shaitan, urge them with your voice, and classical scholars explained that the voice of shaitan includes music, singing, and flute. Mujahid said the voice of shaitan is music. Ibn Abbas said any sound that takes you away from Allah is the voice of shaitan, and Ibn al-Qayyim said music is the voice of shaitan. In hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said the bell is the musical instrument of shaitan. This referred to old Arab bells, which were loud, sharp, metallic, continuous ringing that destroyed focus and inner peace and prevented remembrance and spiritual calm. Scholars say the ruling was for disturbing sharp ringing, and not for every type of bell. Therefore, modern soft doorbells, alarms, school bells are allowed, while disturbing decorative bells, animal bells, and musical wind chimes should be avoided. The companions were extremely careful in these matters. In the incident of Aisha Raziyallahu anha, two young girls were chanting poetry, and the Prophet ﷺ did not focus on them, but turned his face away, showing dislike for musical tones. And when Abu Bakr said, the musical instruments of shaitan in the house of the messenger, the Prophet ﷺ told him to not stop them, because it was a special occasion, but he never denied the description. Another narration says that when musical instruments become common and singing girls are promoted, punishment will come close to this ummah. Ibn al-Qayyim said music is the Qur'an of shaitan, and whistling and clapping are his prayers, and that music opens the door of zina, destroys modesty, and removes the Quran from the heart. Modern science proves the same. Music floods the brain with dopamine, increases sexual imagination, increases desires, lowers self-control, causes addiction, breaks focus, and makes concentration on the Quran difficult. Music affects the brain like drugs, alcohol, and pornography. In every civilization where music became central, dance, nudity, alcohol, club culture, drugs, and destruction of families followed. Shaitan's formula is simple: music, mood, desire, opportunity. Sin. Islam does not demand complete silence. Islam allows clean, pure entertainment like duff on weddings, Eid celebrations, and children's performances, but without musical instruments, because duff has no seductive rhythm, no trance effect, and no sexual tone. Today, the world is filled with music everywhere, but the voice of Allah, the Quran, is becoming rare, and every believer must ask themselves, what frequency is my heart tuned to? The frequency of the Quran, or the frequency of shaitan? If the heart is tuned to the Quran, then no beat, no tune, and no melody of the world can pull you away from Allah.